With the 17th pick in the 2022 CFL draft, the Hamilton Tigercats select Anthony Federico, defensive line, Queens. Montreal, you're on the clock.
And Anthony Federico, a guy seen as one of the top defensive ends, edge guys in this draft. And the big thing that stands out about him is the potential upside. A lot of length is the thing when you look at Federico. I think his wingspan is about 6'8". He stands 6'4", has been one of the top guys in the OUA. You see OUA sacks leader in 2021, was part of that pro day with the Fords with Deontay Knight at the University of Buffalo and generated a little bit of National Football League interest. I talked to Queens coach Steve Snyder today, and he said about 5 teams called, inquired about Anthony Federico, and he had nothing but positive things to say about this young man in terms of his work ethic, in terms of his leadership, in terms of his commitment to being a great football player. So again, a little bit of Canadian depth added to that defensive line, particularly with as you see an opportunity for Mason Bennett to take on a little bit bigger role in Federico from Niagara Falls, I believe, just down the road, that he'll have plenty of family out to watch him in the Hammer.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense for him to go there and stay relatively local. For me, this one was 8 tackles and a sack in the OUA playoffs, but like you're saying, leading the OUA in a year in which they were playing in the OUA East against a lot of similar competition in sacks across the board. And I'm not sure exactly what he's going to be at the next level, but I mean, he was 17th on the final Central Scouting Bureau rankings. He goes 17th overall here to the Hamilton Tigercats. A high caliber player. It feels like a big board selection to me. Everybody watched him at Tim Hortons Field at the draft watch party. You're getting an athlete that's going to play on special teams alongside some of the other guys that have been taken the last couple of years, whether it be Jarrett Richards or Gordon White as a long snapper that gets down and covers kicks. He's going to be an immediate impact player. He can make the roster right away. In terms of defense, where he slots in, give that time, but he's a player that deserves to be on your roster.
You can't teach long arms. You see in the first 2 plays of his film, you see him posting and just extending on the offensive lineman to tackle. There's no starters right now at defensive end. I mean, maybe Bennett, but you see this probably as a guy who they could develop and potentially be a starting end at some point in time. He definitely has the frame.
Yeah, and you look potentially, thinking back to last year's draft, Hamilton picked Mo Diallo. You know, a guy who played his last season at University of Arizona. He was drafted out of Central Michigan before entering the transfer portal. But another guy who's a pretty good Canadian defensive lineman. They're putting together a pretty good group there should Diallo arrive and should Federico develop as anticipated.